thank you so much for coming out here. I'm delighted to meet you. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you.
Welcome to our little slice of heaven out here. This is this is the Vail of Los Angeles, if that's a thing. Can that be a thing?
It can be a thing.
Yeah.
We'll make it a thing.
Cool. And we have a special guest here with Lucy, right?
This is Lucy. She broke her arm,
Oh,
hit by a car. So
well, her cast is very cute.
thanks.
How did she get hit by a car?
Yeah, she was chasing after an animal and chased right after the wheel of the car.
Poor girl.
Yeah.
Well, as I said, all dogs welcome here.
Thank you.
So, cool. Well, I think the best way to kind of dig into this is I'm interested in what you're doing right now. Like you have a house in Los Angeles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yep.
do you spend some of your time living out here?
Yeah, it's been part-time here and part-time in Colorado and really most of my time on the road. For racing, but I love it. You know, it's difficult. I've always been chasing winter, so it's nice to have a place that's warm that I can come back to, and my dogs love it here. So
Cool. Yeah. So typically you would be going to South America during the warmer months here, right? So you're just chasing snow year round.
Yep. So I went to Chile a few weeks ago, and normally we go to New Zealand, but I didn't go this year. And yeah, we're just constantly chasing the snow, and usually October is when we go to Europe, and then November we're starting training again in Colorado. So it's kind of nonstop.
Yeah,
we just have a few months off in the summer where we're working out in the gym.
What are you training for right now?
I mean, this is going to be my last season on the World Cup.
Is that official?
I've kind of said it a couple times, but no one really seems to believe me. So I'm just going to repeat myself that I'm retiring. And, so I'm really going to look to enjoy this last season. And I'm hoping to break the World Cup win record, which is 86, and I have 82.
You have 82 right now, right?
Yeah, so that's my big goal. There's also World Championships in Sweden in February. But I really just want to enjoy this last season and have fun with it. And, if I break it, great. If not, I've had a great career and I'm just ready to do something different.
Well, that's a healthy perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't start off that way, but it has now gotten to the healthy part.
Well, it's got to be interesting how it's all evolved for you, because as a young person, you can just train and nap, and life is very contained and simple. And you live a very large life right now. You got a ton of competing interests and all different kinds of things that you could be doing. I would imagine you have to say no to a lot of stuff and fun opportunities. But based on looking at your Instagram, which is a terrible barometer of what your life is probably really like. But
that's not real life.
It's training really hard and then having fun and then lots of dog stuff, right?
Basically, yes. Yeah. I mean, most of my life right now still revolves around, preparing for the ski season and being in the gym. And I've tried to, have more fun with it and do interesting things, do contests and bunch of balance stuff, make it more fun. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of opportunities that are coming my way, and it's hard to kind of decide what to do. And, it's definitely a pivot point in my life and transition period. And I can't say that I know exactly, the main focus of what I'll be doing next, but I have a lot of really interesting and cool opportunities. So I'm excited about the future. It's really weird to still think about life without ski racing. Yeah. But, I know physically I just can't do it anymore. And the grind mentally of grinding physically takes its toll.
Yeah. Well, there's that rumor circling around that The Rock is going to show you around Hollywood. And
yeah.
Your fellow Under Armour athlete teammate.
Well,
has that happened yet?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely kind of leaned on him as a kind of a mentor, and his road to success is pretty incredible.
I mean, he's the world's greatest mentor.
Yeah.
If you could have him as a mentor,
I mean we would all be so lucky,
right?
So I'm just anytime I have a question, I just ask him, and I went on set with him on Ballers, and in between takes, I was just, hammering him with questions. And then he'd go and do his line, super easy, then take a break, and I'd, continue hammering him. But I think that, it's definitely something that I would be interested in doing. I'm not sure if I'd be great at it, but he seems to think that I will be. So, because, we have the same mentality of just hard work. And I think that, if I have that opportunity, I'd work really hard to be good at it. So,
well, you're both grinders.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Definitely grinders.
And I don't know where that guy's source of energy comes from, but
either.
It seems to be limitless.
That's what I said. I'm like, I need at least like 8 or 9 hours of sleep. I don't know how you survive on this grind that you have going. And he's like, no, I get, 6 or 7 hours. I'm like, you wake up at 3 a.m.
right
every day. I don't know what math you're doing, but
crazy inspirational that he'll like fly all the way to Europe from LA and then arrive at like 3 a.m. and immediately go work out. And it's
crazy.
It's cool.
Yeah, I love it.
But before that, you're still training right now.
Yep.
And you're trying to balance all of that with all the fancy stuff that you get to do. What does that training look like, and how do you, maintain that level of intensity and focus? Like, I know you're a grinder. It's like your disposition. It's probably not hard for you, but at the same time, it is different than when you were 18, 19 years old.
Yeah, it's a lot different. I mean, just based on my injuries, it makes things so much harder. My workouts are all kind of modified to just do what I can do, basically. I can't jump. I can't run. You
can't jump?
No.
You can't run? Come on.
I was able to jump until recently, and now it's just I'm bone on bone in my knee. So it's had enough. I need to stop doing that.
Well,
and running, I've never been good at running. So let's be honest.
But you're on the bike a lot, right? You're on the bike all the time.
Yeah, every day. Yeah. Well, I mean,
do you ride outdoors too, or just all indoors?
I do when I'm home in Colorado. I can't say that Los Angeles is the best place for road biking.
If you come up here, it's pretty good.
But it's hot.
It's not that hot.
It's like 125 degrees.
No, not right now.
Well, it's October and it's almost ski season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love biking outside, in the mountains. It's pretty incredible in Colorado, but it can get really monotonous, and then, before I ski, I have to warm up my knee and work out for like 45 minutes. It's just a process. It's not even remotely close to what I did when I was, 18, 19 years old. I used to just get up and go, and you get on the hill and you just bomb down the mountain, and, that's it. And now it's like this whole long process because I'm old and worn down.
You're talking to somebody who's 52. Like, I get it.
I know, but you're like, you love pain. You do like you used to do triathlons and stuff. You're crazy.
I'm a grinder, but I'm like, my level of grind isn't anything like yours. And I think, and certainly, I haven't sustained the kind of injuries that you've had. I mean, it's impossible to even keep track of all the things that you've had to weather through. Like, I mean, how many pins and screws do you have in your body? I mean, you got scars all over you. I mean, this is like, the laundry list of injuries that you've had would have just ended the career of most people, or at least sidelined them for much longer than you. But you've had this ability to always come back, like always overcome the obstacle and like continue to show up.
Well, I mean, I think, it's hard to beat the person that never gives up. It's just, I have a passion for what I do, and, everyone has their ups and downs. Everyone has their obstacles they have to face. Maybe mine are worse than most, but not the worst that others have had. So, I always try to keep things in perspective and understand that I am still really lucky to be able to do what I do. And I just work as hard as I can. And if I'm successful after injury, then great. If not, I'm still doing what I love. So, to me, there is no downside in trying your best.
Was there ever a moment after sustaining one of these injuries where you just thought, like, that's it, I'm done?
My arm injury was pretty bad because I couldn't use my hand.
Right. That was in 16, right?
Yeah.
So you lost the feeling in your hand for quite a while.
Yeah, for about 2 months. I couldn't move my hand. I thought, not only am I not skiing again, but I'm not going to be able to eat food or I couldn't sign my name. I couldn't write the alphabet. I could barely hold a pencil.
So how long did it take before the feeling came back?
I started to be able to move my hand, like move the fingers after about a month. And then I gained like full strength. It probably took like 4 or 5 months. But it was really scary because your knee, it's your knee. You're going to get better. You just have to be patient, do the work, and it'll turn around. But with my hand, they couldn't really give me an estimate. They're like, we don't know. It could get better. It could not get better. You could have no function in your hand ever again. And that was a pretty scary
because those nerves have to regenerate, right, and grow, and they grow very, very slowly.
Very slowly, yeah.
So did you continue to train throughout that? Or
I had to.
You like taped your hand to the ski poles, right?
Well, I was skiing, and that when my hand got cold, I lost a bit of feeling, and I just dropped my pole a couple times, and so to me, it's not worth losing a race because I simply dropped my pole. So I just duct taped it to my hand and moved on.
Well, I think that what really, certainly you're unbelievably talented and you've been at the top of your game for so long. But I think people who don't really understand or know that much about you just think, oh, well, she's the greatest skier of all time. Like she's out there, she just wins everything constantly. But when you really drill down into your career, it's like, it's like high highs and low lows consistently throughout, right? It's just, it's marked with a million setbacks, way more than, somebody, I followed your career and then I started to like really read more, dive into the details of it. And I was like, oh my God, like you've really had to you've sank low and you've constantly come back and come back and come back. So I'm interested in like the mindset required to do something like that. Because if I had to, if somebody asked me like what distinguishes Lindsey Vonn from everybody else, I think it's what's between your ears as much as anything else.
Yeah. Obviously you have to be willing to put the work in, but I think the will to be able to push yourself to overcome things is something that you can't teach. You either have it or you don't, and you're either willing to sacrifice things and push yourself or you're not.
And what is it? Like, how do you define that?
I don't know. I think it's an element of grit that, and I've talked with several people about this. It's hard to really say, what is grit and how do you get it? Is it something that you learn? Can you teach it? I don't think you can. I think I learned definitely from my grandfather and my father on, what work is, and, you just shut up and do the job. There's no complaining. There's no reason to, you could have life a lot worse than what you do. So, you're given a task and you just have to accomplish it no matter what. So I think there's an element of that's ingrained in me from those two figures in my life. But I think it's also that I'm just passionate about ski racing. I think if you're passionate about something and you're willing to, push yourself that hard, you're willing to go the extra mile that maybe others wouldn't. It's not just about skiing. It's really about anything.
Yeah.
Most of the people that are highly successful are not the best at what they do or the most talented at what they do, but they're willing to work harder than everybody else.
Yeah. And how do you maintain that level of passion over the years and years and years? It has to like wax and wane, right? There's got to be moments where you're like, I'm not feeling so passionate right now.
There are definitely times when you wake up, at 4 or 5 in the morning and it's, it's not fun to do that. But whenever I'm on the mountain, I really enjoy it. And I think it's also at this point, a way of therapy for me, with everything that goes on in my life. I think that ski racing is my outlet. It's the one place where, I can control everything and I have the freedom to do what I want. And, it's a weird image to think about life without that therapy. I don't really know. That's probably not a good thing.
But you're so involved in so many other things already.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that necessarily. It's just, you know, that's where I think the passion comes from, is because that's ski racing is like my place. You know, it's where I'm the happiest, and that's why it's easy for me to keep pushing to get back to it, because it just makes me happy.
What do you think it is that distinguishes a good ski racer from a great ski racer? Like, what is like the one attribute of that specific discipline that is crucial to reach, you know, the highest level of the sport that might be different from playing basketball or, you know, any other given discipline?
I think there's an element of fear that you just can't have if you want to be highly successful at ski racing. You know, you have to be willing to crash and crash hard and get back up and keep doing it. You know, it's not like basketball where, you know, okay, you're running into some guy, you get an elbow to the face. That's not the same as, you know, crashing at 85 miles an hour. And I just think that it's again, it's something that you either have or you don't. And I think I've always been the person that's really crazy, and I've never had that fear. And even since I was, you know, 9 years old, I was skiing downhill, and everyone thought I was nuts. But
right, you were like
me, it was
like
fun.
A kamikaze from like day one.
Just crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I think it is true. Like, you either have that or you don't. But if you have it, you can still lose it. And as somebody who's suffered these crazy injuries and horrible crashes, a normal person would probably have, even if it's just the slightest bit of hesitation, right? That's the difference between podium and, you know, 50th place in a sport where, you know, it's measured in, you know,
hundreds of a second. Yeah.
So even that like almost instinctual, impulsive, like, you know, reaction that makes you hold back just a little bit because your leg bent the wrong way the last time you made that move, you know, how do you override that and still get into that zone where that is not a factor in how you're making those tiny little decisions?
I don't know. I mean, I think most people that have been injured, I'd say they do have that hesitation, and it takes a while to get over it. I, for some reason, don't have that, which is maybe why I crash so often. But I just...
Right, like she never learns.
Yeah, it's like, what's wrong with me? I just don't... I don't know, I don't see the point in being afraid, because if you're afraid and you have that hesitation, then you're not going to win races anyways. So I try to look at it from like a logical perspective, but... I mean, it's
not logical, though. It's completely a function of your unconscious mind. I think it's weird.
Yeah.
It's awkward to even ask these questions because this is just who you are, right? Like, and you're being asked to explain it. Like, it doesn't.
That's actually a question I get asked a lot, and it's always a difficult one for me to answer because I don't really know why I am the way I am.
Right.
But that is what I am.
This is who you've always been this. You don't know what it's like to be anybody
had a couple of screws
who you are.
So.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, because when I think about downhill ski racing, which is a discipline so different than anything that, you know, I ski, but that I specialize in, you're moving so quickly and you're making these decisions that are so tiny, but you have to be forecasting down the mountain and making decisions that are impacting what you're going to do 3 seconds later when you get down there. Like the level of like, it's all happening
Spatial
so quickly
awareness.
and every little thing is so tiny, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's very similar to car racing, but you don't have the protection of a car. You know, I think it's also too, once you're adapted to going that fast, things tend to slow down. You know, you're able to see things more clearly because that seems to be a normal speed. You know, it's, and I think there's a lot with me that's very instinctual. You know, my reactions are as planned as possible, but at the same time, when you're going that fast, you are relying on your instincts. And thankfully, I think for the most part, I have pretty good ones, but you know, when I'm trying to win, sometimes I make the wrong ones and then I crash.
Well, if you're going for it, it's going to happen, right?
That's the thing. I mean, I'd rather, I'd rather go down trying to win than, get safely to the finish line in last place. I just want to push myself and see what I'm capable of.
Yeah. So how many races are you doing this season? Like you're at 82, you want to get to 86. You need 4 more wins. How many chances at that?
I think I have, it's got to be 20 something.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Downhill and Super G races. There's, or maybe 18, something like that. There's like 9 or 10 of each discipline. Last year I got 5 wins, which was it was pretty good, but it wasn't like a crazy good year for me. So, but I think, the more I just focus on enjoying my last season and just kind of going out with a bang and not really focusing on that record, I think the better off I'll be.
Yeah. So you're trying not to think too much about that.
Overthinking is a really bad thing.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I mean, how do you kind of mentally prepare and visualize a race? Like when you're in the gate, like are you at a blank? Do you do formal practices where you visualize every aspect of going down that mountain so that when you show up, it's just you're kind of like just present? Or how does that work for you? Yeah.
So we have in downhill, we usually have 1 or 2 training runs where we get to run the course. And normally I'll have a pretty good idea of, what I want to do. I'll know the line. I'll be able to visualize it, at least 100 times leading up to the race. And when I get in the starting gate, then I don't really have to think about it because it's already ingrained in my mind. And a lot of the times with these tracks, too, is that it's the same course that it's been for the last 10 years, 15 years.
Right. So you've been doing this your whole life.
Yeah. So, a lot of times I probably don't even need to look at the course to know exactly what I need to do. But, like I said, it's having that plan and being confident in what you're doing. But then at the end of the day, when you're in the course, you have to have those instincts to be able to react because you could hit, a patch of icy snow or, the light's flat and you can't see a bump and, you go offline and then, you're scrambling and you have to make those instantaneous decisions that will determine whether you win or lose the race.
Yeah. How important are mentors to you? I mean, your dad, your grandfather were obviously instrumental in you becoming a skier in the first place. And then you meet Peekaboo and that was a big moment for you. But where you're at right now, do you still have people in your life that you look to for guidance in different areas? Like, how does that work and how do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, I think that, from an athletic perspective, there's obviously the people like Roger Federer and Serena and, I still look to people like Peekaboo, as my idol, but I think more so it's like my friends and my family that keep me grounded. That's most important to me. Because at this point, I know how to ski. I know that part of my life, but a lot of the time, I just need people to be real with me and kind of keep me grounded, and that's how I'm able to stay the same person. I'm happy with who I am. I don't want to change who I am, and so it's really important for me to be around those stable people that really can support me the way I need it.
It would be so easy for you to surround yourself with a ton of people that just tell you how awesome you are all the time.
Yeah, that's never good. Yeah,
especially in this town.
Yeah, this town
and then fast forward 1 year from now.
I always say this town is really good
decisions.
Unless you have the wrong friends.
Yeah. Well, it's a big city. I mean, LA is a very easy target to make fun of, and there's certainly lots of things wrong with it. But there's all kinds of people here, and there's amazing people doing incredible things that are influencing culture. And I think it's a really cool place to live. I think it just takes a little bit longer to find your tribe here than it would somewhere else. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So, I mean, that kind of naturally leads us into this, conversation about you as a role model. I mean, clearly you're a role model to a lot of people, a lot of young women. Does that influence how you make decisions? Like, how do you kind of shoulder that sense of responsibility?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've kind of always felt that level of responsibility, because I remember when I was looking up to Peekaboo and how much of an impact she had on me. And so now that the roles are reversed, I definitely have always felt that, I need to conduct myself in a certain way that, not only my family would approve of, but, the young girls and kids that look up to me would approve of as well. So I started my foundation as well in 2015, and our mission is to empower and inspire young girls. I've got camps and scholarships and programs, and that's something that's really important to me. Being able to do something positive with the position that I'm in. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be just a ski racer, I want to have a positive impact on the world and, help these kids accomplish their dreams and help them, try to be healthy and happy and positive, productive humans.
Yeah, that's cool. So it's scholarships for young women for athletes only, or all different kinds of girls?
Sports. Yeah. There are some scholarships we give out to athletes, but it's mostly educational based programs like STEM, like the STEM programs.
Yeah.
There's a couple of random things, like a girl wanted to be a race car driver and she couldn't get in because she's a girl, and she needed extra help. There's a couple of really interesting stories in there, but it's a very diverse group, and I never want to close the door to anyone. So if I can help, I will. Yeah,
it's cool. Well, it's such an amazing moment right now for women and female empowerment. And, something I say on the podcast all the time is that there's no shortage of amazing women doing incredible things. There's role models everywhere. We just don't do a very good job of shining a spotlight on them as well as we could and should. But I feel like recent events over the course of the past year have really shifted the ballast of that. And now we're seeing so much more attention and respect for incredible women who are, putting their stamp on culture in positive ways, which is really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think, on that subject of responsibility, it's got to be difficult for you with the name that you have and the profile that you have, like navigating the treacherous waters of social media and like all the, nonsense that goes on there. There's been, well-documented dramas that you had to weather through all of that. Like, how do you just compartmentalize that, or do you like not read mentions, or how do you like deal with the noise so that you can stay focused on what it is that you're trying to accomplish and like stay positive?
It's hard.
With all the nonsense out there. It's really hard.
I think when I'm skiing, in season, it's a little bit easier because I have that outlet of skiing, and I don't really think twice about what people say. It's mostly in the summer that I have a harder time with it. You have more time on your hands, and I'm on the bike for a few hours, and I'm
let's see what these people say.
Let's see what's happening.
Never a good idea.
Such a bad idea. Yeah. And before the Olympics, it was there's a lot of death threats, and it was just like pretty crazy. But I try to think about like who these people are, and that they're not important people in my life, and they don't care about me, so why should I care about them? Mm-hmm. And that's a hard thing to keep in perspective, because it does tear you down. It is a hard and harsh world to live in these days. So I just do the best I can. Some days it affects me more than others, but I try really hard not to read things.
It's so insane that you received death threats. It's so crazy.
I hope you ski off a cliff and die. I hope you're in a wheelchair the rest of your life.
It's just keyboard warriors.
Every time I fell, they're like, there you go. That's karma. Like, you're a terrible person.
It's the crazy world that we live in.
My family loves me. That's all that really matters.
It is true, though.
It is true. It is true.
So walk me through your training routine now, because you're a beast. Were you at Gold's this morning?
I was at Gold's this morning.
I saw that Instagram post.
Yeah. I hate having to beat traffic. I have to wake up so early. Usually I go work out at the Red Bull gym, but normally in the mornings it's like, I've got my warm-up, my mobility, my knee warm-up, and then I do core, lifting, balance. And then the afternoon is biking.
So 2 a day is like
Peloton.
5 days a week or something like that? You got the Peloton?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't actually use the classes most of the time, though, which is kind of counterintuitive. But,
Well, they have those ones where you can ride like through the city.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
those ones.
I rode the Hawaii one, and I was like, I've never been here, but this looks really nice. I just, my trainer has a program, and, like I said, it's difficult because I can't do a lot of things that I used to do and that I actually really need to do. But we modify things to accommodate for my limitations with my knee.
But like core strength, explosive power type exercises, free weights, like that's the focus of it, right?
A lot of core, rotational stability, a lot of glute work, cleans, power cleans, a lot of squats, deadlifts.
Yeah.
Like kind of the basic, core power exercises. But
and then once you get to the mountain, then does it just become a combination of skiing plus all of that?
Yeah, it's like a more toned down version of my workouts because most of my energy is going to my skiing. But it's hard on the road when you're traveling and racing because you don't always have the energy to be able to do the lifting sessions, but you really need to do the lifting sessions. Like I have a problem during the season. I tend to get really skinny because I just can't maintain that same level of weightlifting and muscle mass.
Well, you're just constantly traveling from one venue to the next, right?
And also stressed.
Yeah. The very romantic.
Stress, that's a good way of making
Paint
you
me the
lose weight.
picture of what that's actually like. There's probably a lot of people who think you're cruising around in a private jet everywhere all the time, but it's it's hard.
I drive. I mean, in Europe, you drive, you race, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You get in the car, you pack up Sunday night, you drive 6 hours.
Is there like a bus, or do you drive yourself? How does that work? Because you're a team, but you're not really a team.
Yeah, we're not really. We're not. We almost all of us have our own cars. So we have Toyotas, and then we just. I'm like, I've got so much crap that I just fill mine to the top, and then Lucy's my passenger.
So she goes to Europe with you?
Oh yeah, she goes everywhere with me. I mean, it's difficult, when you're, always by yourself. You're in the car by yourself, and then you get to the hotel. You always come home to an empty hotel room. It's pretty depressing. So I got Lucy to help me with that. It's always nice to just have a friendly face. Doesn't matter if I crash or if I won. She's always happy to see me. And
right.
I wish I could travel with my 2 big dogs, but, they're really big, so...
Where do they live here in LA or in Vail?
They live in Colorado with my
so
brother.
You have some, okay.
Yeah, he takes care of them when I'm not around. Yeah.
You got a bunch of brothers and sisters, right?
I have 4, 2 brothers and 2 sisters. The lower 3 are triplets. The youngest 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Minnesota, and then the whole family moved to Vail.
Yeah.
To support you, right? That's a lot of pressure on a little kid.
It was a lot, yeah. And I'm really thankful and lucky that I have such good siblings. None of them have resented me or, have held it over me that we moved out there. I mean, they all lost their friends.
How old were they?
I was like 12, 13. So the triplets were 6, 7.
Oh, well, they're so young. I mean,
and Karin was 10, 11. But they didn't really mesh in well with the kids there.
Oh, really?
So it was a pretty tough transition for them.
Did you feel like you had to succeed to legitimize that for the family?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it was a weird thing. Like you didn't realize you were moving until you'd actually already moved or something. And your parents were like, okay, we're here.
Yeah. They were going on vacation, and then we got there and it was like, surprise, we're never going home.
And your grandfather was a ski jumper, right?
Yeah,
and then your dad was a skier.
Yeah, my dad was a racer. My dad was also he also played football. My grandfather played offense and defense football. He was a boxer. He ran track and field. He was like, yeah, definitely have good genetics in that sense. But I can't say I'm like really as athletic as they are. I have a really good feel for the snow, but I'm not. I can't play basketball. I can't run. Like I am, any ball sports, and have no chance.
Yeah, but would you rather be pretty good at a whole bunch of sports?
No, I'd much rather have what I have.
Are your siblings athletic?
My siblings are... So my sister just ran in the Chicago Marathon
that's
yesterday. Cool. Really proud of her. First killed out ever to run more than like 2 miles at one time. So it's like You're
like Norwegian though, right?
Yeah, but we don't
You'd be
run.
like cross-country skiers.
No, we are like, we're not racehorses. We are Clydesdales. We are built for slow and steady labor.
Says the woman who skis down a mountain at like 85 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm like a sturdy, strong, like train just barreling down the mountain. It's like we're not built for. I am not built endurance. Like you. I am not built for endurance.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't do anything like you do it. So it's all
relative.
Yeah.
But
so your sister ran the marathon. Did everybody ski growing up?
Everyone skied growing up.
Yeah.
But my one brother, Reed, was really the only one that loved ski racing. The rest of them just could care less. My sister, Karen, marathoner, she only won races if we bribed her with hot chocolate at the finish. We're like, we got a hot chocolate waiting for you with marshmallows. And she'd be like, ooh, yay.
That was the only thing I could get her on.
Yeah. Or like she had to go to the bathroom. It was like, no, you got to hold it in. And then she's like, I really got to go.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like your dad, it was pretty intense with your dad.
Yeah, my dad, it seemed like my grandfather's like, they demanded a certain level of dedication and, intensity to whatever it is that you're going to do. You have to have pride in what you do and do it to the best of your ability. So if you didn't live up to your own standard, then, it was definitely not an easy household to live in, but I think that it was really good because it made us better people. I can't say at the time that I felt that way necessarily all the time, but
those are important life lessons that serve you well later in life.
We all turned out really well. So, I think that he did a good job.
Yeah. And now that pendulum has swung very far in the other direction where everybody gets a medal and we're all perfect snowflakes and all of that.
Yeah. I do not agree with that.
So, we'll see what the Olympic team in 2032 looks like with that.
Everyone gets a gold medal.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm interested in how it works with all the crazy doping controls that are going on right now. Like I had Brian Fogel in here, the director of Icarus. Did you see that movie?
Unfortunately, I
did. You did.
Yeah.
So what's your reaction to that? Like,
it's crazy. I I had suspicions that, some people in my sport, may or may not have done something, but it's really scary to see that because it's been happening for clearly a very long period of time. And, it's a systematic problem. And I don't think that they probably have fixed it, even with what they've done to reprimand Russia.
Yeah.
But it's just scary to think of how, if you really want to get away with it, you can. And I'm sure people want to win badly enough to where, they'll do something. But for me, like, I'm scared to I don't even take, vitamin C. Like, I'm scared to take anything. Like, anything that I do take, like a protein powder, has to be NSF certified.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, it's been a really big problem over my career to trust anything that I'm taking. Like, I have to send, like, if I'm taking any sort of supplement, I have to send the whole batch out to get it tested and certified. And so it's pretty exciting for me now to be able to be at this point in my career where kind of in the same direction that, like, my book is, Strong as a New Beautiful. And I think that's another part of my legacy that is really important to me, trying to allow people to understand what they're doing so that they can live healthier lives and be happier. I never liked working out, but until I accepted it and enjoyed it, now I feel like I need it. It makes me feel better. I'm happier when I work out, and that's something that I want to share with people and help them find that as well and find just their own way to be happier.
it is so difficult for an athlete of your stature to navigate what's okay to eat and not eat. I mean, every Olympic athlete that I know, like, they just stay away from all supplements altogether because it's just too terrifying.
Yeah, it's scary.
You are hearing about athletes that test dirty, and it turns out like they had a tainted protein powder or something like that. Like, you just can't trust anything. And I know a little bit about how those labs work, where a lot of these companies are having their products manufactured, and there's so much contamination, and there's very little oversight, and there's no regulation. Like, you have no idea what's going on there.
Oh no, I mean,
and
most
when you
of
think
what's
you're
in
buying
there is
something,
not in there.
you can't trust that what it says on the label is actually what's in there. And if you were to take it to a lab and test it, I can almost guarantee you that it will look very different than what that nutrition facts label says.
Exactly. And yeah, like you said, I mean, as an athlete, it's scary to even, like, I don't even want to touch, I don't even look at it. You know, those like anything you find in like a, you know, health food store, none of that stuff is most likely what it says it is, you know, and the percentage of vitamins and supplements that are tainted or, you know, have products in them or ingredients in them that aren't actually what says on the label is like so high.
Because they're cross-producing. They're producing a multitude of lines in these facilities where all different kinds of products are getting made using the same equipment.
Yeah. You know, I've been approached by a lot of different companies, you know, throughout my career. And I know there's some athletes, maybe not Olympic athletes, but some athletes that have, you know, more lenient restrictions on their doping rules. You know, they've promoted other companies, but I just have never felt comfortable, you know, putting my name on a product. You know, I don't want to tell the public to be taking something that I wouldn't even take, you know, that I can't trust what's in it. You know, it's about leading a healthy lifestyle. Life is a workout. And, you know, like I said, I have never trusted taking anything.
What do you think people most misunderstand about you? I mean, there's so much press out there. People have to be getting it wrong all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just in general, you know, anyone in the spotlight has, you know, there's this perception that's out there, you know, I think most people don't know that I have depression, and, you know, they're like, oh, you're successful and you're pretty and whatever. And it's like, why aren't you happy? And all those things don't equal happiness. You know, because I'm successful doesn't mean that I'm happy. It's important for me to surround myself with, you know, the people that I love that make me happy. And that's, you know, that's something that keeps me grounded and keeps me going. But, I hate the misconception that, like, you know, my life's perfect and I'm happy and everything's like Instagram. Right. It's all perfect.
Yeah. Well, like, if those people had just crashed one of the times that you crashed, how does the depression work? How does that manifest?
I don't know. I mean, I've had it. I've been taking medicine for it since I was like 18 or 19. But, you know, it definitely is more difficult when I'm injured. I just take medicine, you know, every day because you know, it's not worth it. It's not like, you know, you're depressed, you're going to take an Advil, you know, it's like, it's not, you have to be consistent about how you're taking it. And I obviously see a therapist and that's important. It definitely helps me, because it's difficult to talk about, you know, some of the things in my life because I don't feel like many people understand it. And I always feel like I'm complaining, but, you know,
you're not allowed to complain. You know what I mean?
You know, well, it's
people are not going to give you permission to do that, you know, because you live this life, too. You know?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that boxes you into like this prison where you feel like you just can't be who you can't be honest about your real life experience because people will judge you for that because you've, you know, been privileged to have experiences that most people will never get to have.
Yeah. And that's tough. And I understand where they're coming from because, you know, I can see it from that side as well. But I do have my issues and, you know, it's definitely difficult sometimes and I'd say the hardest thing about what I do is just being lonely. You know, I'm on the road a lot and in an empty hotel and in an empty house. And, you know, I'm lucky that I have a really great boyfriend, and, you know, I have 3 dogs, and I have a great family and people that support me, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I am still alone. And I do feel that really deep loneliness that really affects me a lot of the time. And so, yeah, it's something that I am working on. And
all of that, everything kind of rides on your shoulders. The foundation, these relationships with all of these sponsors. I mean, you're alone in a hotel room in some village in Europe, but there's a whole machine that's kind of depending upon you to continually produce.
Yeah, that's the hard part, is like, I just realized that when Lucy got run over by a car, it was like, you know, I have all these things that I have to do, and if I can't do them, I don't know what happens. Like, the whole system implodes. And, you know, I had to take a week off to, you know, take her to surgery, and I had to cancel all these things. And it was just kind of an interesting realization that, you know, I can't stop. And I'm used to grinding, so it's, you know, it's...
I mean, you don't stop anyway, but still...
But still, it was like, well, you know, there are a lot of things in motion that, you know, I have to keep in motion, and I can't just stop doing them.
Yeah.
A lot of people rely on me, and there is a lot of feeling that I can't let anyone down, you know?
Yeah. Well, those are external pressures. I mean, what does it look like on the inside? Like, what is it, you know, behind all of this that's like driving you? Like, is it, I mean, and you can say, oh, you know, I want to be the best version of myself, or, you know, I like to win, or whatever. But like, what's beneath that? Like, what is really like the pilot light that is like igniting this whole thing that keeps you like on this constant grind forward to like excel?
I think it has to do with me not ever being satisfied. I feel like I can do better, and it's also, I think, a feeling of not being good enough. You know, somehow, you know, one win isn't enough. I need to win 2. And, you know, that I'm never complacent. You know, I'm never satisfied with what I have. You know, I just always have that urge to keep going. You know, I want something more, or do something that someone's never done before, you know, try something new, you know, start my own company, you know, work with people that no one else has worked with. It's like, you know, I just have this drive that makes me want to just be better. And it probably is for mixed reasons, you know, like from, you know, family growing up, and, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of psychological things that go into that.
Well, there's dad and grandpa, and there's insecurities and all of that, these things that we all share as human beings. I mean, you know, of course, that if you're somebody who, you know, this many wins is never enough. Yeah. You know, when you get that 86 or 87 or 88, it's still not going to be enough, right? So how do you find peace, right?
That's why
ultimately you gotta like, that's an inside job for you. Yeah, exactly.
That's definitely an inside job, and it's something that I've had to kind of realize and work through. And that's why I've just said, it doesn't matter what the season holds, whether I win or I don't win, or I break the record or I don't. This is just it. You know, I need to kind of, you know, really enjoy it and soak it all in for the last time. And then I need to, you know, just literally move forward and start something new.
That's when you call The Rock.
That's when I call Dwayne, and I'm like, Dwayne, what do I do now? Where is my next job?
I've got this script sitting right here, Lindsey. Come on over.
Yay.
Cool. Well, we got to wrap this up. I want to be conscious of your time.
Thanks. I got one more workout today. So.
Do you? What are you doing?
I got to go home and ride the bike.
Do you?
Yeah.
The Peloton?
The Peloton, yeah.
Do you take my girl Robin Arzon's class?
I don't take any classes.
You should, though. Robin's the coolest.
I'm definitely going to when I don't actually have to follow my stupid program.
Uh-huh.
But now I'm just riding through Hawaii. I'm just like, Hawaii, like, this is fun.
I've got one right over there. You could use it if you want.
Oh, thanks. We're done. Thanks.
Delightful to talk to you. I wish you well. When do you leave for Europe?
We have a couple of races here in Canada first, and then I'll go over like the 3rd or 4th of December.
And then you're there for how long?
I'll come home for Christmas, thankfully. We have a nice little break, and then I'm gone for like January, February, March.
And then that's it. That's a wrap.
And then it's donezo. Then it's party time.
Cool. Lindsey, it's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
How do you feel?
I feel great. How do you feel? I feel like that was a therapy session, and
Dude,
I don't need therapy this week. Thank you.
Good. Well, I serve that role for you. I'm here anytime for you.
Thank you.
You're easy to find on the internet. Just at Lindsey Vonn everywhere. If people are not already following you, they should. And come back and talk to me again sometime.
I will.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Peace.